So anyway, Mike Wiese is a friend of ours. We really appreciate him in many different ways, and we want to say thank you and take it away.
Excellent. Thank you for inviting us as well. Hello, I'm Mike Wiese, as introduced. I oversee brand entertainment here at JWT. For us, brand entertainment is the origination of entertainment platforms that deliver upon a client need, and in success, they become their own entertainment brand. And a client that embraces this strategy and has been very successful is Macy's. With us today is Joe Feczko, to my right. Joe is Macy's Senior Vice President, Innovations and Branding. And to his right is Claire Capeci, Global Business Director for JWT, overseeing the Macy's account. To set up, we're going to play a clip. To set that up, during the 2009 holiday season, retailers across America scrambled to drive sales through discounts. However, Macy's and JWT, we did something much different. We connected with shoppers emotionally by creating Yes, Virginia, a 30-minute animated television special inspired by the true story of Virginia O'Hanlon, a little girl who in 1897 wrote a letter to the New York Sun looking for the truth about Santa Claus. The ratings were tremendous. Yes, Virginia is now an entertainment brand and holiday franchise, integral to Macy's holiday marketing, and it's now a perennial favorite on CBS, approaching its third year with the network this coming December. So with that set up, why don't we'll roll the clip.
It's become as traditional as a Thanksgiving turkey or a Christmas tree.
Dear editor, please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus?
Making her debut is Virginia O'Hanlon, the balloon star of Macy's animated television special, Yes, Virginia.
Everything in this modern rendition of the classic story, Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
We are lucky enough to have Virginia O'Hanlon with us in the studio this morning. Good morning.
It's all about me trying to prove that Santa is real.
And the new Yes, Virginia is now a book and a DVD.
So as you can see, I think Virginia is to this new generation of families what when I grew up, probably Frosty or Rudolph or other holiday classics were. So I think we'll be seeing that for years and years to come. I want to start off with some questions with Joe and Claire. You know, Macy's has employed brand entertainment for decades. I think Macy's as a brand is probably one of the, I would say the originator to a certain degree with the parade and other programming that has through decades has appeared. How would you define your approach, both maybe creatively and strategically, to branded entertainment when there's so many ways that I think you can do things in the marketplace?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Mike, you're right. I mean, we definitely feel that branded entertainment, branded content is part of the Macy DNA, part of the brand. And we're very careful and respectful of, about that, because we think it's a permission that's been given, to us by our customers and our viewers. It's I was going to say it's fairly a new arena for us, but you're right. We have a long history in producing shows like the parade, the fireworks. It was a natural progression for us to do something like Yes, Virginia, and some of the other branded content programs recently got involved in. It's also, I think, too, where the new technologies, have brought us new opportunities, live streams and, mobile and things like that, that we just wouldn't have even thought of 2 years ago.
Right. Claire, as a business director running the account, how would you prioritize? How do you prioritize it, knowing there's so many tactics and things that we need to do for the client?
Well, the thing about Macy's is that it is an entertainment brand. And why is it an entertainment brand? Because shopping is entertainment. And with our heritage and our history of doing parade and fireworks, we get just a little bit more credit than most with being able to make that fit. With that said, internally we have a brand we have to manage, and the content piece has given us a bigger platform, and the fact that we can take something that was originally a promotion like Virginia and make it a program and a TV show and basically a platform. It's merchandise. And we're continuing to figure out how do we make it bigger and better. But the balance here is making sure what we do is also good for the business. So like, how do we do something that's really good for that speaks to our customer base and connects with customers, and at the same time can help, propel our business at the same time.
So, Yes, Virginia, I mean, it was developed and produced like any other program I think a network would commission. But why don't you just, I know the audience here, there's probably producers and people looking to pitch and sell programs to brand partners. Just kind of walk us through kind of how did it go from an idea in a conference room to being a CBS special?
Wow.
First it started as a holiday promotion under the idea of Believe, or activation, I'll say.
It was an
under the
activation,
idea of Believe.
And an altruistic activation program. So as Mike said in the beginning and all that, we knew we didn't want to necessarily just go out there with a price-only campaign. We knew there was another emotional chord or another chord we wanted to tug on, and that was emotion, that year. We had an existing partnership with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we wanted to, kind of bring that to another level. The other part that kind of really started was the whole idea of writing letters to Santa. I mean, what was more American than, writing your letter to Santa? And we wanted to use that as a traffic builder to store. So that was a component that started, and again, using, one of the things I think, again, we're very mindful of is that, we believe our 800+ stores across the country is another media outlet. On a typical, weekly basis, you get about 30,000 people walking through a typical Macy's store. That's not a Herald Square, which gets well over a few 100,000. But, that's a lot of eyeballs that go through just a typical Macy's store. So for us, it's a media outlet. So, driving traffic through this idea of writing your letter to Santa and bringing it to Macy's, and for every letter, we'll donate $1 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, up to $1 million. And the campaign was created there, and the wonderful line that was written, "A million reasons to believe," started. And it just started snowballing to that. And then when we found this incredible property, the Virginia O'Hanlon property, and again, most of us probably have heard the line, "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus," but we really didn't know the rest of the story. And that was where it was a great opportunity for the creatives to jump in and to, craft a very magical story, fictional, and a whole host of characters. And, it just built, on itself, layer on layer.
And the one thing about both Macy's and the way we work, well, first of all, Yes, Virginia, Miracle on 34th Street, is based in Macy's, if you've ever seen the movie from 50 years ago. So that's where the idea originally came from. But the one thing that's fantastic about Macy's is that while many people will tire of an idea, they do not. And so the idea of evergreen, what more can we do? What more can we do? What more can we do with this idea? So it started as Believe, a franchise, an activation, and so, but what more can we do with Virginia? And that really gave the creatives the opportunity to say, well, we can take this story and bring it to life because everyone's heard of Rudolph and other Christmas specials, but you really don't know the story of Yes, Virginia. So that was the impetus to the program. And to Macy's credit, the creatives brought a TV show idea, and you guys said, let's go try to make this thing.
And in keeping with the Believe brand idea, brand platform, Joe believed to do it regardless. You didn't have the network deal in advance of
No, we did
going
not,
into production.
no.
You just knew it was something that had to get made and would find a home, which I think is, you can't understate how much credit that needs to be put out there for believing like that. So content, though, it's only as good as probably who watches it, right? If we make it and no one sees it, it probably has less value. So who is your audience? If you were the network, you are the network in the channel, who are we trying to program to? Who today is watching Macy's?
Well, I think the other reason why this property got so much attraction was our core customer is female shopper 25 to 54. That's the core. But we all know that we've got a wide range of customers that shop our stores. Our millennial group, which we target at 16 to 24, is very important to us right now because we know that's the next generation. And those core customers, 25 to 54, of course, are working female women who have families and children, etc. So that's why this property was like the sweet spot for us. I mean, this idea of getting the family all around, albeit a television set, but maybe their computer or their tablet or their mobile phone, whatever the device is these days, to be able to engage and watch a program collectively was sort of like the heartfelt idea. We know people absorb media quite differently today and everything, but that was sort of like the idea that Macy's, the quintessential American brand, was able to bring a program like this together to American families.
Right.
So, and at the same time, you kind of Macy's is as customers of every size, shape, and form, but yet we have to connect with them all personally and individually to make it relevant. So content has given us the ability to do things in a more niche way. Something that's very targeted to families, or very targeted to millennial, or very targeted to people who love cooking, and not unlike our star designers do. A Martha may appeal to someone who's very different than Lourdes and Madonna with Material Girl. So it helps us be relevant to many of our customers individually.
Thus the need to think like a programmer, if you will. You have almost like the way a network might look at late night or day parts or prime time. You have your audiences that you need to create for. I know because we have our meetings every week, I know the amount of pitches you get from the outside world, producers of all credentials and backgrounds. What do you look for in a partnership? I know we at JWT, I think we help sort that out with you. But what do you like from someone coming pitching you a new idea?
Well, I don't think we really care where a big idea comes from.
Right.
Whether it's generated internally from the agency. And that's one great thing about the relationship with the agency is that I think it's a unique relationship because I've got to give credit to these guys because we're a hard account to deal with because we have a pretty robust creative group, marketing group inside. Aside from the work that JWT helps us to create and everything, we produce around, I would say, probably 10 million pages of print on an annual basis. We produce over 100. We shoot 150 days of promotional TV ourselves. Just our internal group. We have an e-commerce digital team and all that. So it's a pretty dynamic and demanding creative environment and everything. It's definitely a marketing machine when you get inside the four walls of Macy's. But that said, don't really care where the big idea comes from, whether it comes internally. If it's a great idea, we run with it and we make it work and all that. We're very protective. We've got, very specific brand guardrails.
Right.
And every idea, gets passed through that filter, that lens of what we think would be, appropriate, not only in terms of content, but tone and manner and all that. And I think, working with you guys over the years and everything, I think you kind of know us and get us now, and we feel that, you know what to bring us and what not. But you're right, Mike. I mean, we do get things directly. Sometimes work comes in from the agency, or opportunities, right? Media partners. We have a whole media buying group for that, and sometimes it's just a cold call, to do that. So we take it all in, and we pass it through that filter, and then we see what where it goes from there.
But the beauty of it is that when the organization, it is a massive creative organization inside, it can be overwhelming. But the beauty is when you have an idea that connects inside or within the organization, the way it can become larger than anyone ever imagines is unbelievable. Like when I first got on the business, someone said sometimes you see an idea drop to the ground, grow legs, and go. Because once the organization embraces it, it's in every single store, it's all over the place, it's like you guys can activate like nobody's business. So because they're not only a client that they make product, they're the channel, you cover every aspect of the chain. You really we can make merchandise, when there's a market for it. So the ability to bring an idea and literally see in a very fast turnaround, it activate and really be everywhere is incredibly impressive.
And what's unique too is you have the national platforms, but then just your regional, West Coast, Midwest, the South will have their own stuff, which is big in scope too. And we may not know about it here in New York, but Glamorama in Chicago is a big.
It's happening tomorrow, right? Or
right, LA tomorrow.
Next week.
So we've talked about, I think, obviously some television ideas and some traditional sort of media, if you will. But you guys are really pushing the limits, I think, right now in technology and making that core to your message and how you're telling stories. Just talk about that. QR codes, augmented reality. What do you like? What are you seeing? What are you looking to do more of?
Yeah. Well, I guess we probably had the epiphany that I had, I guess, maybe 2 years ago now, was that, for years, we struggled with on how do we, so we're going to create all this content and we have, as I said, 800 plus stores and all that, and how are we going to leverage that content, at point of sale? Clearly, online, is so much easier in terms of that. And it was actually at a conference like this, when there was lots of discussion about mobile. And really, what hit me was that for years we were struggling in terms of trying to find the millions of dollars, I mean tens of millions of dollars, to put flat screens in our stores and bring that technology. And I realized that customers, that we did have that technology. It was just now customers had that technology in her purse and in his pocket. It was called a mobile phone. So how can we get behind that in a very aggressive way and start getting on the front end of this? And so starting about 2 years ago, we started the initiative of, instead of spending money and putting old technology in our stores, rerouting that money and Wi-Fiing our stores to make the mobile experience, more user-friendly, more dynamic, at point of sale. And then the opportunity came up, within the last 12, 18 months about QR codes. So we started a huge program last season called Macy's Backstage Pass, which allows customers to go backstage with our celebrity designers and get tips, get entertained. We brought the program back this fall season, and now we added an incentive, because in our research, customers told us what they wanted from QRs from Macy's. They wanted to be either educated, entertained, and they'd like an incentive. So we added an incentive and a shopping spree contest. And then for this holiday season, we're going to, again, using the mobile platform, introduce AR, augmented reality technology, and using our property, Yes, Virginia. Yes, Virginia will come to life in our stores via augmented reality technology. And not only when you come in to mail your letter to Santa, now you'll be able to get your picture taken with Virginia and her friends in an augmented reality
I saw the demo
atmosphere.
last night, actually. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty
Very
cool.
fun.
As far as like what's next, then, I mean, there's like you are a brand that can do you do anything you want. You do, when you want to do something, you get it done. What do you see next? What would you like to do or haven't done yet?
Well, again, I think we have to, I'll answer it this way. The one thing we know is that we can't get, behind the learning curve on any of this technology. So, we started with QR, now we're moving into AR. We've got our eye on near field, RFID, all that stuff to see, again, how do we make that, how do we embrace this idea and really, make true that we are going to be a world-class omni-channel retailer.
Right.
That's our goal. Be a world-class omni-channel retailer, and be everywhere, and make sure that we're available, to our customers, no matter how and when she wants to shop and or engage rather with the Macy brand.
Would you ever see, and this is something Claire we've talked about, enough content where you could actually be your own channel? I know brands are launching their own dedicated platform channels. Red Bull, for instance, is one I know that has its own channel. Vans.
Well, Mike, Claire and I wanted to talk about this. We have an idea of creating sort of like our Wayne's World. But
yeah.
Claire and I. So if you're interested in that, we'd like to pitch you that idea.
Yeah, we will. Anyone want to take that right now? We can set that up.
But the one thing I would add is that what we have learned over the past 18 months since we've been doing content, we've done Macy's $1 Million Makeover, which was a reality makeover program that lived on Facebook, that we had live voting. We've been doing the QR program. Content is very time consuming, and it can be very expensive to build and make. So, a TV commercial, we used to think that was the biggest thing in the world, and we whip those off now and no problem. But when you're doing, 20 pieces of content to make a program, it's a lot of work. Making sure that we find the audience, I think, is a lot of what keeps us all late at night. We can build it, but when you're not sticking it on the Super Bowl for your however many gajillion people to see it and it's done, that's the balance. And, to Joe's point, what is success? Is it, should we be excited with 50,000 views or 10,000 views, or does everything have to be 1 million? But balancing making content that we think is really relevant for the business, but making sure that it's enough people see it and interact with it and like it is kind of the balance we live through, because you can really spend a lot of time and a lot of resource to make it of the level that we want it to be, right, for this brand, and this brand needs to have it at. So.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely quality over quantity for us.
Quality, yeah. That's one of the things I quickly learned working with your account is that just getting it done is not good. Or good enough, I should say.
Right.
It's got to be great.
Yeah, no,
I think there's often too much of an emphasis on just getting a deal made and moving on. And I think that's one of the things that separates your brand in the branded entertainment space is that it needs to be as perfect as it can be. And so that's just, I think.
Well, once again, I think we've set the bar high for ourselves. With programs like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, like the fireworks show, like our celebrity television commercials, that have been shot by the likes of Barry Levinson and Barry Sonnenfeld and such and everything. Right. So we want to make sure that above all the content's relevant but it really, from a quality level and a creative level, really reflects the brand, the Macy brand.
We have a few minutes left. I just want to bring to the attention of the audience here what we did last week. It was, or 2 weeks ago, Fastest Night Out.
Okay.
Oh.
And you produced a live broadcast, 14-camera production that I think would be equivalent to what E! Or any entertainment network would do an award show, for instance. Just how did that come about? Is live programming something that you could do more of?
Well, Fashion Night Out obviously has become a worldwide event, and obviously it's in our sweet spot, fashion. Terry Lundgren, our CEO, was partnered with Anna Wintour to actually kick it off with Mayor Bloomberg in his office. So as that has grown, and we've had so many celebrities coming, Tommy Hilfiger was having Joss Stone sing, and there were 50 celebrity appearances. We kind of said, how do we take this that will touch 10,000 people walk through the store and make it bigger? How do we take this entertainment that is walking into Herald Square and take it to people who are in Chicago or LA or Tulsa or London for that matter that can't be here. So that was the impetus of it, of our, to the brand. It had to be of a level that we would all be proud of, and it was something that stands up to our quality. So we had Carson Kresley and Sean Robinson host, and they did a live stream of it. So we're really proud of it. It was the first effort.
We also had the fun of live events too, live television.
Yeah, well, and it's like let's do live stream. We don't mess around when we started. Let's start with the.
We'll close there. I think that just puts the punctuation on Macy's being the entertainment, but also that you said shopping is entertainment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience in the store needs to reflect that. And I think just being able to produce content that makes the whole thing an entertaining experience is what you do well, and it's been a good conversation. We're going to let some folks ask some questions if there's any. Yes.
Clearly, Virginia was a good program, and some of the other ones we talked about. Have you done anything that didn't work, that failed, and why and how did those actually happen?
Yeah.
We all have.
Yeah. It's absolutely, but I guess the reason why is because as we've gotten into it, we found that as we bumped it up against some of those guardrails I was talking about and everything, it just wasn't working, and that's one of the things that I've got to give credit to the Macy organization. They let us run with a lot of stuff, and failing is okay, because without failing, you're never going to learn, so we've got that kind of built into it. But we would rather, from ourselves and our partners and all that, we'd rather have other people push us and try to get us to try new things and all of that, rather than us trying to say, well, how come we can't do it bigger, or how come we can't do this?
And what I would add is that, interestingly, Macy's never uses the word fail, or hasn't to us or me or our team. Even if we may have said, well, we're going to make this thing, and we think 1 million people are going to watch it. And guess what? It was 500,000. Mm-hmm. The questions are, well, why was it 500,000 and why not 1 million? Are we expecting too much as 1 million, or can we do things? So Backstage Pass is a perfect example. We did it for the first time, which is QR and bringing our celebrity magic to people in store. And we had good uptake, not great. So we tested it with online, and everyone said, well, incentive. So we came back, and rather than push it aside and say, okay, what's the new shiny bauble? Let's come up with a brand new thing. What can we do to this platform to make it better and make it work harder? So we built an incentive into the technology. So if I watch, I have ability to instant win anything from, what was it, $25 to $500 instant coupon fashion spree for yourself. So when the corporation, the company, the team believes in an idea that they think has real value, it's more likely that we're going to try it again. Even if we don't even have to know how it worked the first time, we know we're going to try it again because we're going to learn and figure out how to make it better. Because for a company this big, at this scale, it takes time to get things into the organization and to get everyone around it. So that's kind of that's the beauty of working with this client, because they do, how do we make it better? How do we make it better? As opposed to, that didn't work, so walk away.
I really believe Macy's approaches content like a studio would, where we know every studio, not everything's a blockbuster, but there's always success found. You got to try, and that's what's great. So with that, though, we're out of time. I'm getting in the wrap-up signal. Thank you.
Thank you.